Hey everyone, Casey here at home with Casey. I'm with the nutrition relationship coach, food relationship coach, Elyssia Maya, and we are going to talk about pickling today. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Excited to see what you pickled.
Oh, yes. So on my
Foreshadowing.
Tasty Tuesday, I pickled some vegetables. Now,
Ooh.
we typically think about pickling for wintertime. It is harvest. We had the
Yeah.
autumnal equinox last week, so we're getting a lot of our summer vegetables, or just what do we do with all of them. So tell a little bit about why we do can and pickle and preserve.
Yeah, exactly for that. So preserving, traditionally, uh, when we couldn't go to the grocery store and get whatever we wanted all year round, right? We needed to preserve the summer, fall harvest and make it last through the winter. Or be able to eat those pickled foods with foods that were less tasty, more bland, like potatoes or whatever root vegetables we could grow, and also meat. So fermented and pickled foods can be a complement to the more kind of boring bland foods of winter, but they're also a way to make your summer, fall harvest last all the way through winter.
Awesome. Yeah, because yours, like pickling, we talked about this. We've been talking that it's been around for about 1,000 years. So in 2030 BC, it actually, in India, they had a pickle that they pickled with acid. So it came around during that time in the Tigris Valley. So it has been around for a long time. It's typically to preserve food that would go bad. Right. So
Yeah.
you can add salt to meats, beef and pork for it to, so you can make it through the winter like you were talking about. Or you can, either brine something like in an acid of white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, or apple cider vinegar, and then add some salt and sugar and some brining herbs. Or we were talking about you can brine just about anything. And if a vegetable does have a large water content, just adding salt will draw out the water and it can ferment in those juices. So, pickling is really good. But what's the difference between pickling and fermenting? That's a good question.
Yeah, because something fermented could be pickled. Like you said, pickling something is basically like soaking, say, a carrot, for example, or any vegetable in a salt brine, so that's salt and water, or in an acid like vinegar or lemon juice. So, what you're doing there, if you're going to eat that in a couple of days, that's called quick pickling. And that's going to give those vegetables this acidic flavor. So it's going to be more for flavor, and you're going to be adding acid to the food you're eating, which has some benefits we can talk about in a minute. And then fermenting can happen without adding anything to a food. So like, for example, sourdough is fermented, yogurt is fermented. You're not adding like a salt, brine, or vinegar or acid to that. It just is the food's reaction. The food has to contain a sugar, starch. It's its reaction to the bacteria in its natural environment. So the bacteria work on the food, they eat it, and then the byproduct is lactic acid. So there's an acid byproduct, carbohydrate, and alcohol. So other examples we were talking about, wine and beer, right, are fermented foods.
Yeah, and some cultures do a lot of fermenting, like in Japan, they have the fermented bean paste and the other things that we typically are not accustomed to here in the United States, but more beer and wine kind of people. So now, how did that fermented food or the pickled food work with our digestion? How does that really nutritionally help us?
Yeah, so with the pickled food, the salt is actually has a heating quality, and so does acid and lemon. So you've got heat basically added to these vegetables that you're pickling. And then the fermentation has these lactic acid byproducts, which are acidic. So acid heat helps improve digestion, because if you think of your digestive system as a pot where you're cooking food. Yeah, so the hydrochloric acid in the stomach is an acid. It's like this heat for the food to start being broken down. I mean, the first breaking down happens in the mouth when you're chewing and there's amylase. Then you go to the stomach and you've got this hydrochloric acid. when you eat pickled or fermented foods, you're adding more acid to the fire there, and you're just assisting digestion essentially.
Right.
And then later down the line, the acid also triggers your pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to release the right digestive enzymes to help break down the food better. So, like what we were saying with these winter foods that are, like if you think of summer foods, tomatoes, fruits, they're just sugar and water. They're easy to digest. But these winter foods are hard to digest. They're heavy: potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, beets, and meats, right? So the pickles and the fermented foods assist in increasing heat and aiding digestion.
That's awesome. And during the pickling process, you really don't lose any of the nutritional value. Like we talked about,
right.
When we heat our vegetables over 200 degrees, we lose the nutrients, right? And when the nutrients and the flavor go hand in hand. So kill the nutrients, kill the flavor. So with pickling, we're essentially eating raw, right?
Right, we're eating raw. Yep.
And so we can glean all of the nutritional value from the raw. So now Elyssia has informed me that she pickles and uses the juice, the leftover juice, for a mocktail. What do you put in your mocktail? I'm very excited about the idea of using the pickle juice. What do you make?
So typically in a mocktail, I'll do a soda water, like a flavored soda water, no sugar, like we talked about last time.
Yeah.
And then I'll do like a maple syrup because it stirs really easily. And then I usually do apple cider vinegar. But one day I had something I'd pickled. I had beet and radishes pickled, and I just decided like I'm gonna try using that juice. So just using some of your juice, like I don't know, a tablespoon instead of apple cider vinegar, because the vinegar kind of like makes it seem like there's alcohol in there. So replacing with your pickled juice.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of that flavor. Now, because I added beets, it's made this really great red pickling juice. So I'm pretty excited about that. So
yeah, you're gonna have a nice red cocktail. Maybe you could stick a carrot in there, one of your carrot spears from your pickled carrot spears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, this is so awesome. So yeah, let us know what you guys are pickling. What is your favorite vegetables to pickle? I did add some jalapenos and some garlic, and man, this thing is going to be spicy. I can't wait to try it out. But yeah, do let us know. We're excited about it. Elyssia, thank you again for joining me on this interview, talking about food and things that are good for us. So everybody get out there and pickle, aid your digestion. It's harvest time, and let's have some fun. So, you're going to come back again when we talk about some fall harvest produce, right? And what we can do with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, you guys, I'm Casey at Home with Casey. This is Elyssia. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.